I want you to look at the person on your right and your left and say, show up for your life.
Show up for your life.
Yes, Willie Allen said that 80% of success is just simply showing up. Like many of you chose to show up tonight to celebrate the legend of Les Brown. And most of your future success will be dependent on what you've done tonight, just simply showing up. Ladies and gentlemen, I was born to Haitian immigrants. My mom came to this country 40 years ago with $150 in her pocket. Just like many immigrants that come to this country, she worked all kind of odd jobs. She worked in a purse factory. She did all kind of work making up beds in a hotel. And after 23 years of being here, she finally got her piece of the American pie. She opened up a Haitian cuisine about 45 minutes north of here in Delray Beach, Florida. And after 2 years of working and conducting this restaurant, just when she started to have massive revenue, just when she started to build a customer base, she received a notice in the mail. And the notice said that the property was going into foreclosure. She was devastated. She started thinking, how could this be happening to me? I've been paying the landlord every single month. I've got 2 boys that are counting on me. I need this to work. This is everything that I've worked for. And not knowing what to do, she said, at a minimum, the least I'm going to do is I'm just going to show up to the sale. That maybe I could convince whatever big wig real estate investor that wins this bid if they would allow me to just stay in this property and continue to rent it out. So a month later, she goes to the foreclosure sale. And when she shows up, she's expecting to see a room full of investors like this. But to her surprise, there was only one person there to bid on the property. It was the representative from the bank. And in typical fashion, the auctioneer got behind the podium. He said, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to start a bid on 540 West Atlantic Avenue. If you're here to bid on the property, please raise your hand. And naturally, the bank representative raised her hand. And my mom was standing on the other side. And she figured, I must have showed up for a reason. And with the act of faith, she raised her hand. And the auctioneer said, very well, we're about to start a bid on 540 West Atlantic Avenue. We're going to start a bid at $20,000. The bank representative raised their hand and said $20,000. My mom, caught up and excited, she said $25,000. The bank representative said $26,000. My mom's a fast learner. She didn't go up by $5,000 this time. She said $27,000. The bank representative said $30,000. My mom said $31,000. This went on and on and on. Finally, the bank representative said $74,000. My mom said $75,000. The bank representative said $76,000. And now my mom, she's starting to have attitude. She said $76,500. The bank representative stopped. She looked at her notepad. And then there was silence. The auctioneer said $76,500 going once, $76,500 going twice, $76,500 sold to the woman who was willing to show up. Yeah. The woman who was willing to show up despite her circumstances. The woman who was willing to show up despite that English wasn't her first language. The woman who was willing to show up came from the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. And here's what I say to you. That right now, someone is waiting on you to show up. There is somebody who's looking for a voice of inspiration, and they're waiting on your story to show up right now, right now. Someone's in the bookstore. They're going through books. They're looking for a book to change their life, and they're waiting on your book to show up. Ladies and gentlemen, show up for your life. Show Show up for your dreams. Show up despite the circumstances. Show up despite what's going on in your bank account, because if you don't, no one else